just wondering how you deal with clients who are maybe a little bit anxious about giving feedback going forward.
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I've got a couple of answers for you on this one real quick. So the first thing is, and this is just the way that I've got my thing set up, is that so they get an automated email right before the end of the session that's asking them, what's your biggest takeaways, and as well as the feedback sessions that we teach. And so if I notice that there's any sort of resistance, or even if they just don't have anything at all in the moment, I just gently remind them. I just go, and by the way, just so you know, there's an automated email. It's waiting in your account. If anything comes up, just feel free to write it to me. I'm totally open to anything that you have to say. And so first of all, I don't put any pressure, and it's totally optional. I mean, really, that's just a gift for me that I'm requesting. If they feel that they got some extra value and they feel comfortable and confident to share that with me, then it's really a blessing that someone could give me. Feedback is the greatest gift that someone could give me, is the belief that I have, because that's what will support me in accelerating my development so that I can better serve them and better serve people like them. So that's the kind of, and I'll even tell them that. I'll just let them know, and I'll be like, by the way, it's a great gift. I'm totally open to receive it. I don't take it personally at all. In fact, if we're short on time, the more blunt you are, the better, because really the only purpose of this feedback is so that I could better serve you and people like you. It's totally optional. And if you don't have anything now, there's an email waiting there for you. Or if there's not an email waiting, just feel free to shoot me over any notes that you have if you do have an idea. So that's the first part of my answer for the question. How do you deal with it if either they feel you sense that they have some kind of resistance, or they just don't know, they don't have anything to share? On the second part of it, let's say they're going, well, is there, what specifically would you like feedback on, and that kind of stuff. In general, what I would say is to them is, look, I'm not really looking for necessarily professional feedback in terms of how I could be better, in terms of like, my supervising coaches will give me that kind of feedback. What I'm really looking for is your experience as a client. And so, the feedback that I'm looking for is personal to you as a client. And so my question for you is, based on your experience as a client without any prior coaching knowledge, what did you like about this? It might go against what you think a coach should do. Maybe you really liked it when I gave you that piece of advice. And I know from my coach training that I should be minimizing my advice giving, but if that's what you like, well, just tell me what, as a client, as a human being in the other chair, in that chair over there, what did you love about it? And the same thing goes the other way, is if what's one thing from your personal experience, not with knowledge of coaching, just your personal experience, if I could better serve you, human to human, what could I do better for you? And so that's really how I frame it in terms of that, because what I'm looking for, I'm not looking for high quality feedback they're not a coach supervisor. If I want high quality feedback on a certain skill or a certain part of my coaching, I'll go to a supervising coach who has more knowledge and experience in coaching, as well as in giving feedback, high quality feedback. But in the end of a coaching session, what I'm really looking for is human to human, your personal experience, because the belief that I have in my inner game that supports me in asking those questions is, first of all, my intention is to best serve this human being. So that's one of my intentions, is driving that state. One of the beliefs that drives it is that every single human being is different. And so I couldn't possibly know what this person likes or doesn't like, no matter how many coaching hours I have under my belt. And so those are some of the inner game stuff that drives me in requesting the feedback and setting the frame for the feedback and being able to gently nudge them. And again, no pressure. If there's nothing that comes up now, that's totally cool. Maybe next time you'll have something, but just know that I'm totally open for your feedback. In fact, I encourage it, and I'm going to continue to ask you. If the answer is I don't know, that's cool. There's no pressure. You don't have to give me anything, but if something does come up, just know that my purpose in asking this is so that I can better serve you. And so if there's anything better that I can do to serve you, you just let me know. And one little last nugget on there, because sometimes I'll use a story and I can just share that quick story with you. And it's kind of, I bring a little humor to the story that I say, one time I was doing a training, it was a 3-day training. And of course, make a story that's real for you, but I was doing a 3-day training, and I asked for feedback at the end of every day. And at the end of the 3rd day of the 3-day training, they gave the final feedback form, like the official feedback form. And after the 3-day training, I'm relaxing at the end of the day. I'm looking through the feedback form, and let's say 40% of the participants wrote, the sun was in our eyes. The light was coming through and the sun was in our eyes. And it's just so funny because, well, if you would have just told me that on day one, I would have changed the chairs or changed the blinds. But nobody told me. And so 40% of the participants sat in that room for 3 days, day after day after day, with the sun in their eyes. And all it would have taken was to tell the feedback, and it wasn't like I didn't ask. And so, if the sun is in your eyes, don't hesitate to let me know, because I could just change the blind and I can better serve you that way. So I hope that these kind of feedbacks here help serve you. Yeah, Woody?
Or are those people totally coachable?
Definitely. And I think there's some, some people have, because people have different frames of mind and experiences, frames of references around feedback, in terms of they have bad experiences receiving it, meaning that someone gave it to them poorly, or a lot of times people take they think feedback is criticism, so they have a poor time, or they gave it to someone and that person didn't receive it well. And so a lot of people have poor frames of reference around it. And so one of my jobs as a coach, or one of your jobs as a coach, in an ideal world, is to support them to develop a better relationship with feedback, because part of coaching is you giving feedback to them. A lot of it is, and giving it in a well-formed way. And the other part of coaching then, as the coach, is you putting on the coach hat, is you modeling for them how to receive feedback well, so we can do this both ways. Just show that I'm open and I'm coachable as the coach. And when you give it to me, this is I'm modeling how to receive feedback, and I'm just letting you know that the flow of feedback is what accelerates growth and development. And so I hope this helps answer your question regarding that. How is that for you?
Yeah, it works well for me. Thanks.
Awesome.